That's just for the slides. Excuse me, everyone, I'm quite new to this. Thank you. Well, thank you for inviting me here today to share a little bit of my story living with metastatic melanoma. I was first diagnosed over 10 years ago. As you can imagine, well, actually I didn't even know what melanoma was. And thanks to the new wave of melanoma and immunotherapy, I am still here sharing my story with you. Let me see here. How do I do the next slide? So, is it this one? That one there? Okay. This is the power of immunotherapy. I would like to point out. Oh, no. Well, this is me pre. I'm in New York on the High Line, and I love that place. I would like you to picture this. I was 31 years old, and through research, we decided to go to the Peter MacCallum Hospital. That's where leading edge trials and research was going on to do with melanoma. 2 years earlier, I'd had my navel, the initial melanoma excised, and an oncologist at that time said, I wish you well. Most likely it'd be great if you could survive 2 years, let alone 5. So expectations at that time weren't great. And if anything, please eat more greens. Yeah, okay, but that was great advice, I guess, for that time, because not many people would have survived much longer than that. So I understood what that comment was about. So back to waiting in the waiting room there. My family had moved from Brisbane back to Melbourne because that's where we'd have great family support, but also we're back at the Peter MacCallum Hospital, spearheaded by now Professor Grant MacArthur. Waiting, I've had no sleep. I've been, anxious because you don't know. All the literature about melanoma says there are no cures. Really, there is none yet either. And I go in, we meet Grant. His reception is calming, I would say. And he explains to me that whilst there are no cures, there is a lot going on in this melanoma area. So if we can find the right trial for you, it's a matter of hopefully it will work long enough for you to then, I guess, hop onto the next trial. Luckily, I had the BRAF gene, so I went on to targeted cell therapy, BRAF and MEK inhibitor, and that worked for 14 months for me. So I had a very Merry Christmas that year. And that worked for a while. Then my brain, I'll confess right now, I have mild aphasia thanks to a brain surgery. So it's a little bit tricky every now and then with my words. It's all good. I quite love the fact that that's the only real side effect that I have. I'm here. So after this targeted cell therapy, and with that communication with Grant, we knew that's a really good key point here. With communication, building hope that there's something else maybe out there, there was, and that was anti-CTLA4. I call it IPI, people, so for all your scientists out there, please bear with me while I just call it IPI. I was on to IPI, which is fabulous, but what had to happen during that time frame was the metastasis had gone to my pelvis, my abdomen, and also my brain. So I needed whole brain radiation, stereotactic radiation, and a craniotomy. My weight went from nearly 100 down to 40. So we did the radiation, the chemotherapy, all of this in preparation, Avastin, all of this in preparation for then the IPI. And given my physical entity at that point in time, IPI only had a 20% chance of working according to the trials. me, I had a 2% chance of that working. Another part of this story is, that is my scans when the IPI had kicked in. I find that astounding. My pelvis and my brain, it blows my mind, and that's the power of IPI. The other part of this story is that IPI was not available on the PBS. So we had a fundraiser with my family, my friends and my workplace, ALH, which was astounding. Grant and Mark, another oncologist, they spoke at that event. That's over 600 people. They raised $120,000 for my immunotherapy, and that is partly why I am still here. Very, very great, thankful for that. After that, I survived that, obviously. I came back from basically the dead. There was a little nickname going around that I was the miracle patient. One of the first people to actually go on to that drug, I guess. I think one of the finest thing about that is that it was an international call. I remember Grant being in Boston, calling in on the phone to two residents, Shanine and another doctor who I love, but I can't remember his name right now. Once again, aphasia. And they then went and looked it up. They looked at the computer, and I was in bed. I could hardly move, but I could see him on the computer. I was thinking, oh, here we go. And when you're faced with a terminal illness, for me, I believe in science, and I believe in the fact that, you know, if you're going to go, you're going to go. You've got to go. If you're going to die, well, I'm going to give it a chance here. So the fact that it was a 2% chance, of course I'm going to go. I'm not just going to wither away here. And my whole family, we decided that we would go. It's a circle of control for me. I give that across to the people, the experts, I would call them. And for me, I planned my funeral. I gave the jobs, as in like social media, to my family. One was in control of beauty, i.e. shaving my legs. You know, that's just, they're little things. But when you're incapacitated, you know, you don't want hairy legs. You know, it is so minor, but it does add up, you know. And I remember a nurse saying, why are you worried about that? And it's like, it is about still having some pride in yourself at those times. So, and putting on some moisturiser, you know, you don't want to completely become a mummy. So those little things add up, and just keep that in mind, you know, if you are a nurse or a doctor, don't let that go. Oh, sorry, how do I go back? That way? Here we go. This is me in rehab.
Bend me on that one. When it's looking stretched.
Look at my eyes if you can. I'm about 40 kgs here.
How's she doing? Good, she's fine. That's great.
I can't actually do this myself, but they're stretching me up.
Okay, straight out. Good.
You want it to be stretching. Now, what I want
Okay,
chest
enough,
up,
baby. You can
head
go
up,
to the chair.
nice and tall and lovely.
Very good.
That's it basically, but they said it would take me 3 months to learn to walk again, put me on a slide board, move me over 3 months, and that was the goals on a board. And my dad said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to walk, not get on a slide board. So we wiped it off in 3 weeks to walk, and I did it in 3 weeks. So, you know, the power of the mind and positivity is a really good thing. And that's part of putting out with the goals, you know, and knowing what is out there and ahead. Keep that in mind. And having a multidisciplinary team, like you were speaking about earlier, I can't see you right now, but it is a big thing, and the right language with people. I had a doctor who said, we're not going to treat this like it's terminal, we're going to treat this like this is chronic. I knew full well it was terminal, But to say it's chronic just alleviates a little bit of stress. Living, I said I was on Keytruda now, and next week I go into my 88th treatment of that. There are lots of side effects. As you can imagine, I've had a lot of brain work done. I'm early menopause, I'm chronic colitis, I have all these little side issues, but it can all be managed. And it's a really small price to pay when the other option is to pass away. So the reason that I keep going, and I think a lot of people do, for me it's family, it's for a quality of life that I manage. I know I was a bull at the gate, and Grant recognised that when I was banging on his door first time, I think, and he taught me patience, and that's a good relationship to have. Living a life with metastatic melanoma is about knowing yourself, knowing to know your body, be organised. It's like a business. You have to take responsibility as a patient. You can refuse, or you can choose different doctors. You build a team of people you trust, and you communicate well with them. You have to communicate. And I love my team. It's a big team, and that's why I'm here. And that includes my family, my friends. I have a local network. I now have my drugs in Webster packs, and that can be delivered if I'm not feeling great. It's local. It's within my hospitals, which are across Victoria now, as well as Peter MacCallum Hospital. And I live for my family. And I also think, time is nearly up, but I think the new waves of melanoma treatments that are coming up, the combination theory, combination trials, etc., are exciting. And so my heroes now not only are footballers or athletes, they are the people in research. They are the people who are treating us. There's a couple here in the room, as you might imagine. I really love the fact what is going on here. So I wish you all well, and I hope you keep aiming for the stars, because I think a cure may be not too far away. So thank you.